Leslie.
Leslie.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just asked you. And where do you live?
In Overland Park, Kansas.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about how heart disease has touched your life.
Heart disease has affected my family especially me, since I was age 21. But it's a long road because it didn't impact me then. The key is denial, denial, denial. My mother-in-law, and there's a kid, you have to wait for this. My mother-in-law fell out of bed dead when I was 21. Fast forward about 25 years, and my husband had a heart attack at 41. 5 years later, he had a sudden cardiac death incident. Had a PCD implant here at St. Luke's. Fast forward again. I'm thinking, what's the deal here? My poor kids. About 7 years later, my brother had a heart attack at age 49. I'm going, And about 4 years later after that, he had another heart attack, which required 5 bypasses. In the interim, my mother, who they said it really wasn't heart disease because she had 4 bypasses at age 76. However, she had been suffering from angina for 10 years prior to that. I'm thinking, when's the next shoe gonna drop? So a year ago, September the 8th, was my due date, and I was very, very lucky. I had just a stent put in. Now, what led up to that? My famous word that I want to tell all women: denial, denial, denial. I didn't know what shortness of breath was. Didn't have a clue. All summer of 2014, couldn't walk from my house 2 blocks to a CVS. So it was, the culminating factor was I went to a theater production, had to walk up a hill, had to stop 3 times. Couldn't do it. Called my primary care physician. She said, you need a stress test. I'm sending you down to St. Luke's. I thought, I don't want to go to St. Luke's because it had a lot of bad memories for me. Got down here, and my physician, Dr. Michael Main, took one look at my brother's folder, which I conveniently went by, picked up on the way down here, and said, you need a stress test, Leslie. Failed it miserably. Cute side story to that, darling little technicians down there, gets me all hooked up, had my little tennies on, my cute little outfit. And I said, so where are the headphones? Where's the music? And he said, Leslie, I got 20 more people behind you to get this. We're gonna ramp you up quick. He ramped me up quick, and I lasted barely 2 minutes. I got a phone call within 24 hours. You need to have, Dr. Main looked at your report, you need to have an angioplasty. Can you come in Friday? So here's denial, and this is what women need to know. I said, I'm having company. Pregnant pause on the phone from the nurse. Can you come in Monday? Yeah, I can come in Monday. Got off the phone, cried, and I realized, not cried because I had to have it, cried because I realized I think I escaped the big one. Got in there, they found 95% blockage on the LDA, lateral descending artery, the widowmaker. I still have 70% blockage in another artery and 30 in the other, but that is being, hopefully, because I try so hard every day to manage it with diet, with food, exercise, of which every day is a challenge: diet, food, and exercise. And that's my message. That's my story in a nutshell.
It is. That's great. That's great. And so you're obviously very aware that, heart disease does kill more women than cancer now, and it is a big danger to our population. So why do you think women don't talk about heart disease more?
Once again, it can't happen to me syndrome. And it's not the American Heart Association's fault. It's no one's fault but our own. I think because maybe we are genetically wired that we are the caretakers of everybody else. And it can't affect me. And I don't know how, and I want to figure out how to get this message across that it does affect us. We see the literature all the time. We hear it all the time. It is the number one killer of females. And it is not age specific. So,
Absolutely, you're right. So I know you said that you've made some changes with your diet and exercise and things like that. So what are some of those changes, and have they only impacted you, or have those changes kind of impacted your family?
impacted my family. It has impacted my daughter. My daughter is a healthcare provider. She's an emergency room nurse. She has always been very health conscious, and I think having seen me go through this struggle, she is very, very dedicated to taking care of herself. It has not impacted my son, which is disturbing to me because he lost his father when he was 21 years old, and his sister was 16. He's 38 years old. He's in a very high stress position, and I'm trying to be the role model for him. As far as other people in my family, my brother, God love him, tries to lead a good, healthy lifestyle. He's very, very hyperactive. He has curtailed his drinking. He no longer smokes. I never did smoke, and I just like to have my cocktails with the girls.
And so can you tell me a little bit more about some of those other lifestyle changes you made with your diet?
Yes, I finally actually took up sincere walking. Having had a hip replacement, the running days are gone. The high impact aerobics are gone because I'm not going to go back and give the orthopedist any more of my business. So walking is my true exercise, and I love it. And I walk neighborhoods. I try not to have to do any indoor track work because I get bored and I don't want to do it. I don't want to go into, I have found out working in exercise classes doesn't work for me. I tend to want to be more independent. And so because of where I live, I make myself a promise if I do walk the mall in bad weather, I have to walk all levels of it before I ever stop and window shop. I have made myself a promise when I walk outside, for example, where I live near Prairie Village, which is an outdoor shopping area in my community, that I don't window shop. I walk the whole entire area before I ever window shop. And as far as food goes, constant struggle for me because I have an insatiable sweet tooth. But I make very good choices. I try to make very good choices, That's my nemesis, and I am continually working on it, and therefore I empathize with women that do struggle with that problem.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And so what are some of the things that you're already doing to share your story and to share your truth? What are you doing to help women know that this is a problem that's going to affect them?
Presently, I volunteer at another facility here in the metropolitan Kansas City area. And whenever I'm with those volunteer women, I either usually have on a Go Red small pin that I have, or I'm wearing one of these that I got several years ago. Yeah. And that usually generates conversation. I have a ball cap that has Go Red on it with the red rhinestones. That usually helps generate conversation. It's not that people aren't familiar with heart disease. They just don't think that it's going to impact them. So any opportunity I have like that, I will discuss it. And whenever we tend to go out socially, I don't want to push it on people, but the favorite topic for people in my age group is, so how you feeling? Is that's sad but true. And so therefore, I use that as my entree.
That's great.
I'm feeling great now, but boy, you should have seen it about a year ago. Couldn't walk a block. Really, how come? That kind of leads me into my story. I'm Leslie, and I Go Red for my children. I want to uncover the truth about heart disease because women are continually in denial, and that needs to be removed. My children is why I Go Red.